All right, looks like we're live. I'm here with my frequent sidekick, Artistic Layman.
Hello, everyone.
And let's make sure it's going out okay on the old YouTubes here. Should be. Okay, all right, looks like we're live. I'm here with my... All right. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So, first thing I want to mention, Luke, if you could throw up that book. On my way out the door today to head to the old day job, I saw a package at the front door, and somebody had went ahead and grabbed a book off my Amazon wish list, which is very nice. I'm looking forward to reading that. It's called Slash of the Titans, and it's a sort of behind the scenes on the history of the making of the Freddy vs. Jason movie, which was in development hell for a very, very long time. Went through several screenplays, got scrapped and all. It was, I mean, if you know anything about the characters, you know that it was actually hinted about in like one of the Jason movies back in like the mid 90s. I can't remember which one, but there's one where like at the end of the movie, Jason's mask is on the ground. Jason's been seemingly destroyed, and like the ground kind of opens up like a portal to hell, and Freddy's glove comes out and grabs Jason's mask and pulls it down. That was a big teaser at the end of that movie, and I was like, oh, they're going to do a Freddy vs. Jason, and it wasn't until like, what was it, 03, 04? That movie, I think it was 04. That movie finally actually sees the light of day. So I'm sure there's all sorts of behind-the-scenes shit I have no idea about, and supposedly this book. The picture's a little blurry on screen there, but it says, let me actually bring up the picture myself, because it says, like, you know, The Road to Freddy vs. Jason, and the subtitle at the top says, 1 film, 2 horror icons, 17 screenwriters. So
that's a lot of people.
Apparently it went through a bit of development hell. And I don't know which one of you got that for me. All it says is, you know, there's a little note that came in. It says, you know, because when you do that on a wish list, you can say, it says, my favorite movie, GP. So I don't know who GP is. I don't know if I'd call Freddy vs. Jason my favorite movie, but it's probably up there. Top 20 at least. Top 20 at least. I don't think top 10. I don't think top 10. The first Nightmare on Elm Street probably in the top 10, but I don't think top 10 for that, but top 20 at least for that flick. So, thank you to whoever did that. And as I've mentioned before, I'll mention it again. You know, if you do support the show, do consider checking out the Patreon, the PayPal, the Amazon wish list. That helps me keep doing what I'm doing. I know super chats aren't available, but that'll change next month once I'm back to my channel. And hopefully once I've up the content considerably, we might be able to make this a little bit more profitable.
Making bank.
I might let Davis in here. He's messaging me. So the other thing I got today, so I mentioned that I don't really read that many comics anymore. First of all, money's kind of tight. I couldn't read a bunch if I wanted to, so I'm kind of thankful the industry is in such disarray. But I got 4 comics today. Now, to some people, maybe that's a lot. I don't know. Back in my day, that was nothing. Back when I used to read back when I used to read comics regularly, I mean. But I noticed as I got home, I hadn't really thought about it as I was purchasing them. None of them are from Marvel. None of them are even from DC. All of them are Dynamite and IDW. What I got today was an issue of a miniseries called Star Trek Through the Mirror, which is, last year they did a miniseries called Broken Mirror, which was like the Mirror universe in Next Gen times. This is a sequel to that miniseries. I got another issue of the G.I. Joe versus $6 Million Man miniseries, and another issue of the Pumpkinhead comic book, which is pretty good, and another issue of something interesting. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Urban Legends is a new series that started today. Yeah, that's that Broken Mirror thing. But so I picked up Urban. Now, Urban Legends is actually a reprint of the like 96, 97 Image comic series. And not a lot of people like that series didn't do all that well. So they're reprinting it, and they're actually going to finally publish the last few issues that had been completed but never published, supposedly. And they're colorizing it. It wasn't in color originally. And this issue is uber fucking violent. I mean, in the course of one issue, Donatello is shot up and almost killed. Raphael has his face half burned off. It's brutal.
That explains the mask and the robot body.
Yes, Donatello ends up becoming a cyborg partway through the series. I remember bits and pieces of it because I picked up one issue. There was one issue, I want to say it was like issue 7. It had on the cover Leonardo fighting somebody called the Night Watchman, which was some other comic that was published at Image. I think it was called Big Bang Comics. But the Night Watchman was sort of a Batman analog, for lack of a better term. And that's the issue I remember picking up just on a whim when it was new. But very good read so far. I got to say, I'm hooked. And I intend to really follow this Urban Legends series. I'm not reading the main IDW Ninja Turtle comic. I've only read the crossovers with the Ghostbusters comic. But yeah, that's the first page is Donatello getting shot to shit. And then there's this ninja chick in it that, I mean, it is so fucking 90s. Holy shit. Like, it's basically, she looks like, you know, somebody cranked the dial up on Elektra's character design, right? Like, especially her 90s character design. But I mean, she's just like scantily clad, covered in spikes and red leather and shit. It's just so delightfully 90s. It's all the wonderful, fun stuff that the SJWs in charge of the industry won't allow now. So it's a good read. I really enjoyed that issue. I read it as soon as I got home, and I was like, holy shit, dude, I am hooked. So I highly recommend that. Really good stuff. Yeah. So, Davis, what's going on?
Oh, man, NC Clark's got a weird fan base. I just got off, like, after the live stream, which she deleted, that ended in disaster. I just got off a chat with a guy from her stream that was 1/3 Medicor, 1/3 Shoe on Head, and 1/3 Movie Bob.
That sounds like that sounds awful. That sounds like some sort of abomination. I don't know.
He started off making fun of me from a position he didn't actually hold, and he ended off accusing me of making fun of him when I was trying to have a conversation with him.
That sounds gay. I don't think I've been
really weird and quite depressing. I'm glad I'm back on the same stream where we talk about fucking mutant turtles and weird shit like that.
Fuck yeah, Ninja Turtles comics. That's
what you know they called it Mirage Studios because there was no studio when they started off?
Yep, it was in a basement.
God, what a weird like they started off as a prank mostly, and somehow it exploded for them. Good for those guys. Eastman and Laird, good for them.
They when they finally sold, one of them bought the other out, and then when they finally sold Ninja Turtles to Nickelodeon for a meager $2 million, it was basically because the guy wanted to want it out, and he had a caveat in his contract that he is still allowed to make more Ninja Turtle comics that continue the original Ninja Turtle comic line if he wants to. So if he feels like continuing the original story he started, he doesn't have to ask permission.
Smart man.
But yeah, I remember thinking like when that first happened, like what a fucking deal for Nickelodeon. I mean, imagine that. Imagine buying something, and yeah, the Ninja Turtles wasn't at its, was certain. Even the 03 cartoon had died down at that point, but it was
that was a good cartoon. I actually watched I think 2 seasons of that on YouTube. It was really solid.
Yeah, it was almost halfway between the 80s cartoon and the original comic in its tone.
It was kids-friendly but deadly serious. Yeah. I really liked it.
Yeah, top quality stuff. I have more of a fondness for the original cartoon just for nostalgia, but objectively speaking, the 03 one is the better show.
Oh, the old... Well, I was a big comic book fan of the Ninja Turtles back in the day. The TV series was... it was silly, but you could tell the creators were having a lot of fun while they were making it. So, as silly what... Yeah, like there's other shit like Biker Mice from Mars took itself seriously and it was shit. Ninja Turtles was good because it didn't take itself seriously. But the comics, the Archie comics were brilliant.
Oh yeah, the Ninja Turtle Adventure series was great.
I was too young for the black and white comics. But black and white, I'm not going to read a black and white comic when I'm 8 years old. I want one of those color ones. They must be better.
The first time I read the black and white comic, I think it was like 02 or 03. At that point, NinjaTurtles.com was still being run by Eastman and Lard, and they put up like all the early black and white comics just free to read. You know, you get a scan of a page and then you click it and the next page comes up.
This is maybe one of those things I shouldn't admit, but I actually learned how to use the Sai from a Ninja Turtles comic book. Raphael teaches you how to use the Sai. And it was it's a martial arts manual with Raphael. And so, yeah, I taught myself to use the Sai from that.
The live action Turtles is one of the first movies I ever remember seeing in the theater. I can't remember if I saw it or the Michael Keaton's Batman, like which one was first. But those are like the first two movies I remember actually seeing in the theater.
Most successful independent film to this date, I believe. Indie film because nobody thought it would do well.
The special effects in it are remarkable for the shoestring budget they had.
And it's so funny to watch it as a filmmaker. So all the guys in the Ninja Turtle costumes, they're actual martial artists, but they're carrying around 50 pounds of hot rubber on their backs on set. So there's this one scene where Michelangelo has a nunchuck challenge with the foot soldier. And if you go and watch and pay attention as an adult, the guy in the Michelangelo costume, the nunchuck is glued to one of his hands, and he can't do anything with it because he is dying from heat exhaustion. Whereas the guy in the Foot Clan, ninja suit is doing awesome nunchuck moves. And I can just imagine the people in the editing department on this indie film and, very low budget, like, oh my God, what the hell are we going to do with this? This looks like shit. And it's the best take.
Yeah, it's amazing how agile and lifelike they were able to make those performances look in the editing room.
Well, what they did is anytime Michelangelo was doing his really shitty nunchuck moves, they added cool music to it. And then the bad guy, there wasn't any music. I never noticed that until I rewatched the movie a few years ago.
There's one scene, and I can't remember if it's the first or second one, where Michelangelo is jumping through the air. One of them is jumping through the air. And once you notice it, you can clearly see that it's a doll that's probably about half the size of the actual person in the turtle costume. That's just on fucking wires and shit. But again, just the way it's edited, just the quick shots and all, especially as a kid, you didn't notice it. You're just like, this is awesome.
Even as an adult, you barely notice it. You only notice it because you're kind of looking for it now. If you sat down back in, 1992 the movie came out? If you sat down and watched Ninja Turtle, like you watch this, you would be, holy shit, those costumes look amazing. And the martial arts is pretty damn good. For the Ninja Turtle. It's not a Bruce Lee film, for Christ's sake. It's a really good movie.
Yeah, you do better martial arts when you're wearing a 100-pound fucking rubber turtle costume.
God, what a weird thing our culture metastasized. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Like the influences that go into this. Like this mutant thing from... No, I don't think it's so much the mutant thing from X-Men and whatnot. It's more Toxic Avenger. mutant thing, and well, ninjas because there's this whole like this whole fascination with Japan in the 80s, and like turtles because, well, I don't know why the fuck they're turtles, but they're fucking turtles apparently.
Well, the bad guys are called the Foot Clan because the guys that made it were a big fan of the Daredevil comics at the time, in which there was an evil ninja clan called the Hand.
Yeah.
So they're like, we'll call ours the Foot.
Like, it's just this confluence of weird, really weird and random influences, and somehow it's become like I would have thought that Ninja Turtles would have died off with our generation, but no, they're still around.
Oh yeah, like I said, the 03 car. I haven't watched any of the CGI cartoon Nickelodeon did. I've heard some good things about it, but it just the animation style didn't appeal to me at all.
I really like the body horror they were doing with Baxter Stockman.
The new one that's coming out looks like complete ass. I don't know what that's like. Thundercats Roar level fucking bad. I don't know what people are thinking there.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at the image of Raphael, and he doesn't even have a scythe. His weapons are like little sticks on that he holds on handles.
Yeah, and like Raphael's all like huge and hulking, like the fucking Michael Bay movies, and everybody else looks almost kind of normal Ninja Turtle. Really weird. I mean, it's not as bad as like we're gonna turn Steven
Raphael.
Yeah, it's not quite like we'll turn Thundercats into Steven Universe bad, but it is pretty bad. Like there it is. There's the new Ninja Turtles.
Yeah. Michelangelo has a yo-yo, and the only one with a consistent weapon is Leonardo with a sword.
And Raphael has tonfas now,
which have glowing red energy.
Yeah.
I got an idea. What if Leonardo had a lightsaber? That looks rough.
But at least Donatello still has a stick.
It's like the 03 series said, okay, let's try and be more realistic than all the sci-fi gadgets in the previous one. And now it's trying to be more awesome than the previous one. How about you try and be good?
Well, no, nobody tries that now.
Well,
that's almost forbidden at this point.
The problem is the people attracted to animation. Of course, they're going to be SJW.
I think they're, and now it's become a gatekeeper issue. I saw some tweet. Somebody was talking about the Thundercats Roar controversy, and somebody who works in animation. I can't remember the name of it because I'm not even allowed on Twitter anymore. But they said, if you want in this industry and you're on social media talking about how Thundercats Roar and Teen Titans Go look like shit, just know that prospective employers are going to see that and decide you're not ready for this industry.
Jesus Christ.
I didn't have a chance.
Well, this is why my kids aren't going to be watching anything from your industry.
Yeah, I don't think,
I
get cartoons that I know are good if I have a kid and get them on DVD and say, here you go. You're going to have a better Saturday morning than any other kid that's going to be watching the low T Cats Roar.
I'm going to be spending hours downloading torrents of the classic episodes and checking them for quality and burning them DVDs and putting labels on them in box sets, and or unless they sell them at the store, we'll see. And say, here, kids, this is all we can afford. We can't afford cable. And I'll give them 03 Ninja Turtles, and I'll give them the classic Looney Tunes, and I'll give them what's the cowboy named Paladin. I'll give them all this really good stuff. But no, they are not watching low-T Thundercats. They're not watching Thundercats Rawr.
Imagine going back in time to even 03 and just saying hey, guess what? In 15 years, this is the Thundercats. Part of me if something like Thundercats Roar was a little 5-minute short that appeared at the end of a proper Thundercats cartoon, it might be kind of good. If it was just some dumb little throwaway kind of short, because I don't think you can make something like that entertaining for more than 5 minutes. There's a reason Robot Chicken is a 15-minute long show, and the individual sketches rarely run more than 3 minutes. Because you can't build a whole half-an-hour show around just a dumb one-off joke. And the what if the Thundercats were a goofy, stupid cartoon is just a dumb one-off joke. The most something like this could hope to have is about 5 minutes worth of funny at the beginning of the first episode. And that's before you take into account how ridiculously soy-filled the fucking creators are. There's going to be like a generation of kids that thinks that's what the Thundercats are.
You know, maybe there'll be a generation of kids that doesn't watch cartoons because of this garbage.
Probably. You know, these are probably... So much of this crap is probably just watched by a bunch of soy boy adults.
Yeah, the target audience for Steven Universe doesn't even like Steven Universe. The only people who like it are people who are older.
Regressed pedophiles, as the psychologist would say. Listen, I want to be optimistic for a sec. I sense a latent return to masculine norms. It's not happening in Hollywood. Not happening with the media. Sure as hell not happening with the online media, if you look at who's popular out there. But it is happening. And you got I don't know if sleeper hits the right term, but Cobra Kai is actually brilliant. It's totally red pill.
Oh, and everybody loves it. I mean, like, I didn't check it out because I never gave much of a shit about Karate Kid.
I never even saw the damn movie.
The amount of people who have been like, have you seen Cobra Kai? Has been just shocking to me. Dude, I love that Thunder. I never even liked the Thundercats that much as a kid, and I'm just looking at this intro like, yeah, remember when cartoons were like this? When it was just like, here's some badass with a sword, and he's going to fight a badass monster. Because that monster's an asshole, so the good guys go kick his ass.
They got spaceships, and they use swords for some reason, though.
Well, that's because that sword's magic. You need a magic sword to kill the evil mummy.
Eye of Thundera. Look at how heroic all of a sudden. I think you got Snarf. Fuck off, Snarf.
Even Snarf looks fucking more dignified than the current cartoon.
Yeah, they even had like the cool black guy too. You know, they decided like we're gonna have some positive black representation in this show because Panthro is so obviously black. But he's a badass and he drives the tank everywhere. Got spinning rims on it.
You know what you should play, Luke? Play and don't put the sound because it might get us nailed or something. But play the fucking intro to G.I. Joe from like the G.I. Joe movie. It's the most fucking America thing you'll ever see in your life.
Real American hero.
There's parts where like you hear like Cobra, like there's whole like they made the yeah, there it is with the Statue of Liberty. They made like the G.I. Joe song like a full length fucking 3-minute song or something like that. It's like the most America thing you'll ever see. It's like the bad guys are trying to blow up the Statue of Liberty. Like it can't be anymore on the nose. It's fucking fantastic. They're trying to blow up freedom. So we're gonna go kick their ass.
By the way, Luke, you gotta play this afterwards because this is fucking excellent. I got a boner when I listened to that one too. Yeah, but you know what? Mom wouldn't let me watch this when I was growing up. She thought I might join the army or something.
What, G.I. Joe?
I wasn't allowed to watch G.I. Joe or Transformers. They were too violent. How'd that turn out, Mom? You made it dangerous, so I fucking joined the army. What do you think of that?
When I was really little, I loved He-Man, and then after that, I was all about Turtles. But I remember, like, and this was well after G.I. Joe was a big thing. I remember USA used to run G.I. Joe in the early 90s when G.I. Joe had already run its course. And I ended up binge watching, like, all of G.I. Joe in the course of, like, maybe one year. And I was like, man, this was awesome. How did I miss this?
Wait, was G.I. Joe actually good? Like, should I bother watching it?
For an 80s cartoon, yeah, it's pretty solid.
Yeah, I might check it out.
Believe it or not, the old original Marvel comic that Marvel published was really pretty solid, too.
Yeah, like back then, it's like grown-ass adults got saddled with your job is you have to write this ridiculous comic about, I don't know, super soldiers fighting an international terrorist organization, but they don't use bullets because people will cry if that happens. And they sat down and they made lemonade out of lemons. Right? Like you have this stupid fucking show about mutant turtles that ninja fight, I don't know, a brain or something like that. They're like, okay, let's just do nothing but film references and have a lot of fun with it.
The writer Larry Hama that did the G.I. Joe thing and all, he goes, you got to understand, I was basically charged with writing a toy catalog with word bubbles. And damn if I did. Like, there's one issue he decided to just do it completely silent because it's like Snake Eyes sneaking into some enemy base.
Oh, that's cool.
So he has no words in it whatsoever.
Back then, you had people that loved art and loved children. These days, you've got people that love children.
Yeah, no kidding. But I was saying that the other day.
Oh, it picks up the American flag. I'm putting it back where it goes. Fuck all y'all terrorists.
Exactly. Yeah.
We're gonna pose for no camera that exists.
We're flying around in jetpacks while the bad guys are trying to blow up freedom.
All right, have you seen the Yes SI from Venture Brothers? This is fucking excellent, but it involves enhanced interrogation at the same time.
I love how like Venture Brothers is one of those things where it's like they make fun of stuff, but you could tell that they love it. You know what I mean? It's one of those. Oh, dude, that's fucking fantastic.
Oh, this bit right here. Oh, did we get the chick standing on? Oh wait, it's still going.
I love the Fantastic Four parody they did too, where like the girl's skin just turned invisible.
There we go, right there, Abu Ghraib. I fucking love that.
But no, I was talking about it like, you know, a lot of people are like, well, you know, it's not a big deal if it's dumb because it's just a kid's cartoon. And I'm like, you know, if anything, shouldn't we be putting more quality? Aren't I always told how children are the future and think of the children and all this shit? I know, we actually make good shit for them.
These properties were run as businesses used to sell products. Like half of the characters introduced in Ninja Turtles were just a random toy that Playmates came up with. All right, insert this into the narrative somehow. And yet they put more thought and care into these things than they do into the modern ones.
You know, these were shows that weren't afraid to get heavy and dark at times, but not in obnoxious, grimdark, try-hard ways. Just like, hey, sometimes the story is heavy and dark. Like sometimes Bambi's mom dies, kids. Okay, life isn't always sunshine and roses. But again, it just, you know, in my eyes, in a more perfect world, there wouldn't be anything we'd call kids shows. There would be family shows. You know, like as a kid, I always felt like almost vindicated when there was a show I liked that my dad would sit and watch and be like, "This ain't half bad." Like my dad used to watch Ninja Turtles with me and be like, "This is kind of cool."
Oh, it was sweet.
He used to watch the Batman cartoon with me, the 90s Batman cartoon. He's like, this is damn good.
Yeah, that's another one I'm going to download for my kids.
Oh, yeah. You can't go wrong with any of the Bruce Timm DC stuff. The Batman cartoon.
I watched some of the Justice League I was a bit too old for when it came out with, but I rewatched all the episodes with the question in them. And it was pretty good.
Yeah, there was a Batman, Superman, Justice League. There was also Batman Beyond. Static Shock technically took place in that world, but it was a different creative team. But yeah, anything with Bruce Timm as the art director back then, it was just It was just going to be fantastic.
I mean, artists could go just hours and hours on just how cinematically perfect this animation sequence intro is.
Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah, and again, that's a cartoon that wasn't afraid to be heavy, wasn't afraid to be dark.
Tragic at times. And Mr. Freeze was so wonderfully tragic as a character.
There's an episode in the 4th season of it where Mr. Freeze is going around basically just fucking with people. Like, he goes to like this museum where this person unveils this painting that they worked on for 10 years, and he freezes it and just smashes with his fist. Like, he's just going around like destroying people's life's work. And it turned out the reason being is he had finally gotten his wife cured, but at that point his body had deteriorated so much that he was basically a head in the armor. So he finally got his wife cured and he couldn't be with her. And it broke his heart so much that he just wanted to go around ruining everyone else's dreams.
Jesus, that is brutal.
I know, right?
And then when he finally has a comeback, he finally has one last comeback in Batman Beyond, which is the last time he ever appears, because they bring him back only for a little bit and make him normal, but he deteriorates back and just decides to go just suicide, take his meat people down with him.
Yep. But I remember that he like, there's some line where he's like looking at the painting, he's like, "It's beautiful. It must have taken you so many years." And then he just freezes it and smashes it with his fist. Like, fuck you. Walks away.
You either die a hero or you become Movie Bob.
Oh, one of the best lines he had when he was going to drop a reverse fusion bomb on Gotham, and he says to his guards about Batman, "Shoot his legs if he moves, but I want him alive. I want to see his despair."
Well, they really, God, they took that metaphor. Like, Mr. Freeze was just a throwaway villain. I don't even think he appeared in the comic books until after the Adam West. I could be wrong about that.
I think he might have, but yeah, he was
a gimmick villain. And they took him and turned this freezing into he has a frozen heart. It just brilliant metaphorical language to the whole series. It's Shakespearean, for crying out. We're talking about a damn kids cartoon. Now we get
that's a funny thing.
Fuck.
Yeah, all the characters in the Adam West films were all gimmick characters, and then the animators come along and give them personality.
I mean, even like Harley Quinn, which is created for the 90s show.
They nailed the relationship.
It's like, here's a wonderful allegory of why the little girls watching this shouldn't chase the bad boy.
Although now, oh God, they're promoting it with the new cartoon or the new movie about it. Perfect outfit for a kid from a single mother. Like, any young guys out there, if a girl tells you she was Harley Quinn for Halloween back when she was 14, she is DTF. Just be her Joker.
Oh, you know that song that she sings, like in the earlier versions, she actually sings a song in order to give a distraction to the heroes.
Like, what was this, on Justice League or Batman?
Oh no! Wait, in the original series, like she was working with Batman to find the Joker to stop him from activating a bomb, and she sings the song. If I could get a clip of this.
Oh.
But gee, what relationship doesn't have its ups and downs? That our romance had ended until you poisoned my food. And I thought it was a lark when you kicked me in the park. But now I think it was rude.
One of the things I really look forward to is one Halloween, my girlfriend and I are going to go out dressed as the Joker and Harley Quinn, and we are going to role play the whole fucking time. Because, like, I tell you, brother, role playing, when you're acting a destructive relationship, it is so fucking cathartic. Yeah, I've done a little bit of acting, and being a complete piece of shit is so cathartic. Now, you don't want to. It reinforces why you don't want to live that life. But just for one evening, you get to treat one another like complete assholes. She gets to be the asshole cunt woman. You get to be the asshole manipulative prick man and have really hot sex at the end of it. And then the next morning saying, thank God we're not actually those two characters, but man, that was fun.
There was an episode in season 4 where they changed the art style a little bit, and like Robin had become Nightwing, and we introduced the second Robin, who was much younger, Tim Drake. Well, there's an episode where the young Robin, he's trying to help some little girl who's being chased by Clayface, right? And she doesn't have memory. She's got like memory loss or something. She can't remember. But she's being chased by the shape-shifting monster Clayface. And Robin ends up bonding with this girl. And then it turns out the reason Clayface is chasing her is that Clayface was like really, really weak in the sewers. And he sent out a part of himself shaped like a little girl as like a scout. But that part of himself then lost its memory and started thinking it was a little girl and ran off. And Clayface had to like recombine with it, or he would die. He can't be apart for too long. So he ends up absorbing this poor girl, right? I mean, this part of himself again. I know she actually jumps back into Clayface to save Robin. I remember now. And like then Robin is like losing his shit, you know? Like, because in a way, to the extent this girl was real, she's dead now. She's gone. She's absorbed back into him. So he's like squirting acid at Clayface and shit like that. He's like, bring her back. And he's like, I can't. And, at the end, they're taking him away to whatever, the supervillain prison or something. And, they're like, is that all the charges? And Robin's like, no, you should charge him with murder. And that's heavy shit to put in a kid's cartoon, But the kids can handle that. You should be challenging kids like that.
Exactly.
There's a reason all the Disney cartoons had motherfuckers dying all through it.
Maybe that's why we're not complete pussies in the Gen X, older millennial. Maybe that's why we're not complete pussies. We have this stuff prepping us for violence and for loss and for tragedy and sacrifice.
Yeah,
one of the first disturbing characters for me was Baby Doll.
Oh yeah.
Her gimmick is this.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, her gimmick is that she's actually an adult, but her body doesn't age, and as a result, she's stuck in a little girl's body, and she's been trying to adapt to it ever since. But she lashes out because she keeps making her life worse and worse.
Yeah, she was like a former child star too.
Yeah, she eventually broke off to like
She probably had Dan hold her tighter. She's a fighter Schneider rubbing her feet at some point.
But by the way, a great horror trope is combining the innocence of a young woman, like a young little lady, little girl, with demonic evil. It may or may not be overdone, depending on what your opinion is, but if you do it right, it's incredibly fucking creepy.
I remember a line in the original Ninja Turtles cartoon where, it was very early. It was like the first, either first or second show or something, and, Splinter's telling them all that, Shredder's doing all this dickish stuff and you got to stop him. And at one point, Donatello just blurts out like, well, why should we? This sounds like the humans' problem. And, there's some line about, oh, well, you gotta do the right thing. And, even if it's not necessarily your problem, it might be your responsibility or whatever. But it's just such a natural, not afraid to have the character say, well, why should we?
Yeah. As opposed to this fake positivity, fake teamwork, everybody's a winner, no challenges, no difficulty, no sacrifice. Even Ninja Turtles, like Leatherface was a fairly tragic character. He got mutated against his will and kind of turned into a villain and then thrown aside when Shredder had no use for him anymore.
Yeah.
There's some tragedy to that character. And right there, Batman shows you that no woman ever is a grown-up, not truly in her heart. And sometimes they need to cry while a strong man holds them.
And of course, her last line, that whole scene is that I didn't mean to.
There's one of the Justice League episodes.
Sometimes you need to spank them first.
One of the Justice League episodes, it was the royal flush gag, and there's the one character in it that's like a young teenage girl that's got like psychic powers, and her psychic powers are going out of control, and it's butt fucking the very fabric of reality. And they're like the only, she's dying, right? Because it's her brain physically can't handle all that power. But like, the government agents all like, Batman, you got to go in there and kill her before, she's dying, but that's going to take too long and she's going to do too much damage. So he goes in there and like, she psychically knows why he's there. And basically like, he just gets her to calm down and sits with her till she dies.
Wait, are you talking about that movie Frozen? Oh, wait, no, that was the inverse of the story you just told. That the young woman with psychic powers is the smartest person on the fucking planet, and the solution to life is having incestuous kisses with your sister.
I was amazed when I watched that movie. This was supposed to be a queen, and how little responsibility she took. Like, the moment they went up to her and like, hey, you just butt fucked this whole kingdom. It's the middle of summer and everything's covered in ice. Crops are dying. You've trapped diplomats in an icy tomb, which is an act of fucking war. You need to fix this. And she's like, oh, I can't, whatever. At that point, I'm like, okay, I'm officially siding with the guy that says, let's cut her head off, see if that fixes it. The guy that's like, let's kill her. I'm like, he is officially no longer the bad guy.
Yep.
Let's kill her, okay? If she's not willing to... Like, okay, you made a mess, go clean it up. Oh, you're not going to clean it up? Well, then let's see if this fixes it.
He was the black dude in the horror movie.
Not only that, it was the whole premise that she had to hide her powers is fucking retarded. She was the princess. She was the son of... Like, who's going to say something? Like, I get, okay, back then people might have thought she was evil and a witch, but you're the king. You could be like, look, my daughter has been blessed by God with these powers. When you disagree with that, I'll cut your head off because I'm the king.
The metaphor is that when the movie says hide her powers, for the people watching it, it's back when my parents forced me to become potty trained. Is it not?
I don't know, man. I watched that movie and I remember thinking like the animation in this is amazing. The songs are good. Even the snowman character should have been annoying as fuck, and he was actually the only character in the movie I liked. I'm like, but this is just so badly written. Even this, now that I think about it, even the snowman character himself, just because she can make ice, why can she all of a sudden make some of the ice come to life? That's a whole different level of power. But it's just never explained. It's just, for some reason, one of the snowmen's come to life. Because fuck you.
You know what? The people that like this movie would rather believe in the positivity of the message than the fucking reality. I can imagine sitting down with somebody and going through this movie scene by scene, explaining that, listen, the parents are fucking terrible. They're incompetent parents for trying to cover it up. This has nothing to do with your parents potty training you. She needs to be potty trained. And then instead of that, they're trying to cover it up. Diplomats being murdered, etc. I go through every scene. It's like, but yeah, that song's so inspiring for young girls.
What kind of girls?
The sort of girls that grow up to be strippers. Because there was actually a heavy metal remake of Let It Go. And the heavy metal version makes more sense when you consider the lyrics. Let It Go is about becoming a stripper and a whore.
I remember back in the day, people used to criticize The Little Mermaid for having a morally questionable message back when we gave a shit about that. And yeah, it does. Ariel acts like an incompetent fool, an irresponsible bitch, and her daddy cleans up the mess and she learns nothing.
She should have been turned into sea foam.
There's not even like a moment where she realizes she's made a mess and she's really trying to, it's just like, Daddy, come bail me out,
There's never a scene where She offers up herself and says, I fucked it all up. I deserve this. I'm sorry, everybody. That scene never happens.
But even that movie is leagues of, because Little Mermaid's just kind of flawed. Like, I feel like if you just take a little bit of work to the script, you could really redeem it.
You know,
Whereas
if like you use the original script from Hans Christian Andersen.
Even if you don't want to have the full-on, like, she dies at the end ending, you can have some manner of she has to at least offer herself. You know, she has to at least put her ass on the line.
Well, you know,
try and make amends.
In the book, in the novel, she dies at the end, but she's granted an immortal soul. And if she does good works, she will achieve the kingdom of heaven, which mermaids do not achieve normally. So it actually is a happy ending to the book. It's a bittersweet ending to the book.
I mean, you don't necessarily need to kill Ariel to just have some way of writing it in that she learns a fucking lesson. Okay?
Yeah, she learns nothing.
Yeah, she learns nothing. That said, though, that movie is just morally pure and upstanding compared to Frozen. Frozen is a mess from the fucking get-go.
By the way, the Anarchangel comments that he wasn't allowed to watch Captain Planet as a kid. Coyote Khan says your father was very wise, and I fucking agree. You know, Captain Planet, now that was some toxic globo-homo garbage.
The one show I remember my dad saying, you're not watching that, was Pee-wee's Playhouse. And I didn't even like it. It was just like on in between shows I wanted to watch on Saturday morning. And he's like, no, you're not watching that. And looking back, I'm like, good call, Dad.
Yeah, that show creeped me out as a kid. I felt uncomfortable watching that show.
I think I found the best clip of the rock and roll version.
I know, what you got busted jerking off in a porn house or something?
Yeah.
In
all fairness, what the fuck are you supposed to? Aren't you supposed to jerk off in a porno theater?
I mean, like,
if you're gonna show me a porno, I'm gonna jerk off. What'd you think would happen?
Like, am I going to go to jail someday for, like, looking at a midget gangbang porn because that's disrespectful to fucking midgets? I don't know. But that show creeped the fuck out of me. I don't want to beat up on the actor for that. And then he had to do those don't do crack commercials as part of his plea bargain, the poor bastard. Imagine that. You get caught beating off in a porn warehouse, and then you have to do commercials telling kids not to do crack cocaine. When the kids that do crack cocaine don't even know who the fuck you are in the first place.
Oh, somebody says play Thundercats outtakes. I remember that from years ago. Like somebody animated like some of the voice actors in Thundercats saying shit. Like, see if you can play the audio for it, because there's one thing where it's like, you know, the villain brought out a somoflange, and one actor just bursts out laughing, go, "What the fuck is a somoflange?"
Thundercat outtakes, you say?
Yeah, Thundercats outtakes. See if you can find that, like the audio for that.
Wolfman at Large comments that those commercials made more kids want to smoke crack, and you know, I agree. I agree. Like, what was with our parents' generation being completely incapable of communicating to children?
Yeah, Thundercats outtakes, fucking fantastic.
I should have known the Territor didn't mean us any harm when the Sword of Omens didn't obey me. And anyway, it was just plain stupid to assume it might be bad. Just what the fuck am I talking about?
I want to see your tits, my dear. Motherfucker!
Fucking dog, yeah!
Shut the fuck up! Get over here, bitch!
Ah! Damn!
I think there's... Where are you? Outtakes.
This is it.
Yeah, that was it. Need audio.
You gotta snap out of it, Lion-O! Call the Thundercats before...
Shut up, you fuck. I should have known the Territor didn't mean us any harm when the Sword of Omens didn't... And anyway, it was just plain stupid to assume it might be bad Just what the fuck am I talking about?
It's when Wily Cat and Kid are pretending to be the most helpful that they're dropping their pens on the thing while I'm talking. Let's find.
I love when voice actors just lose their shit.
No audio.
Okay.
Yeah, the audio cut out.
I'm saying that too fast. Let's find the mega condenser. Still going too fast.
What's wrong, Lion-O?
Oh, fuck, here it is again.
What's here again?
That thing, that mega thing.
Want me to say it?
Yes!
I'm going to put this one right between her pretty.
That's the line of the show right here.
Put off that blasted samoflange.
What the fuck is a samoflange?
I have to do that again.
Oh, Lion-O! We're not...
What's the matter, Snarf?
got a cold.
Motherfucker!
Shut the fuck up!
Get over here, bitch!
Ah, damn.
Run out the fucking plank, boys! Come here, motherfucker.
Thunder! 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 Thundercat! I'm going too high.
You've got to get back to the lair, Panthro, before those mutants do something drastic.
Come on, and get yourself together. Go ahead, just
I want to see your tits, Spider.
stand it. Going to pass out.
Can't hold on to it any longer.
Oh, man.
Good Lord.
What the fuck is a samoflange? Oh, Lordy.
Yeah, these days they try and make sure that you don't start vaping by posting bisexual men all over the covers of the vaping magazines. I swear, vaping is the least manly drug ever invented. You know, it is more manly to mainline estrogen, grow tits, and fuck guys in the ass than it is to vape. Because at least then you're like a prison rapist or something.
It's like the one thing where the cops ask a guy, like, do you have any drugs? And he goes, I have a vape pen. He goes, look, buddy, I didn't ask if you're homosexual.
God, you get this more in the States than you do here, but you're driving down the highway and there's some piece of shit pseudo sports car with 4 cylinders and like decals all over the windows, and the window rolls down, mad clouds pour out of the 7. Jesus Christ.
Oh, wow. The first person to introduce vaping to Peter is a liberal soy boy.
Oh, yeah. Peter takes a hit of it and he turns into a millennial. Family Guy's still way funnier than people give it credit for.
I don't understand how vaping became so soy. Originally, it was a way to get away around paying cigarette taxes.
I don't know. These fucking people just get a hold of everything and turn it into shit.
Well, I guess it's new, and you can plug a USB port into it, so it's computer-like. Basically, if you can plug a USB port into it, it's going to become soy.
What happened? All of a sudden, I feel like I know better than everyone else.
Oh, man.
On the plus side, they won't have children. Or if they do, my kids are going to be beating them up at school.
Well, their wife will have a child.
You know what? I swear to God, this is going to happen. At one point, I'm going to get really angry at my son for bullying, and then go to a parent-teacher conference. And then I'm going to meet the father of the son the kid that he bullied. I'm going to go back and say, son, you're not grounded anymore. That kid needed to be bullied.
Speaking of needing to be bullied, have you seen Mundane Matt's silver play button video? Have you seen this, Davis?
No, you got to tell me about this.
Okay, so Mundane
I'll
Matt
pick it up.
Okay, so he gets his silver play button. You know, if you get over 100,000 subscribers, YouTube sends you a silver play button along with that you can hang on the wall, and along with like a copy pasta letter, corporate speak letter. And it's a cute thing. Like, hey, you're in the top 10% or whatever of YouTubers or something like that. Here you go. Is a little okay. So I could see like doing a video where you unbox it. And maybe you get a little choked up and you say like, I want to say I really appreciate all my fans. I appreciate everybody who subscribed. You all, I love you all to death, right? But he is actually choked up at the recognition from YouTube. They send him this copy pasta letter that, is the same letter everybody gets for this, right? And he is acting as if they typed this out specifically for him. He is reading the letter and fucking crying.
Dude, you think the audience?
Because this evil corporation is finally telling him, I guess, the things his dad never did. It's so, and the comments, like this video Luke's playing where they're showing some of the comments under that video. It's unreal. It is unreal how.
All right, I propose the three of us take a trip down to California, and you two motherfuckers hold this prick down, and I'm going to pull out my big Italian penis and slap him back and forth across the forehead until I leave a mushroom-shaped tattoo there. How's that sound?
Well, I'm not condoning any violence or bullying. I'm just saying that would probably do him some good.
He would probably be as thankful for that as he is for this. I'll write him a letter in corporate speak telling him how he inspired me to leave a mushroom-shaped tattoo on his forehead.
He fucking goes after really, really hard everyone. Supposedly, I got to get the details on this before Saturday. So supposedly he had a fight with Shoe on the Head here recently, right?
Good.
And what happened was, Matt was in some sort of live stream. He was talking about how, like, first of all, apparently, according to Matt, Armored Skeptic and Shoe on Head have a, quote, creepy BDSM vibe with each other.
They do. Because she got
they probably do, but in Matt's eyes, a man being a man and a woman being a woman is creepy BDSM to him. But what struck me was, and I don't want to root for Shoe, don't get me wrong, because she's even worse than Matt, in my opinion. But she burned this cocksucker because she was all saying, like, she's calling him like Vanilla Matt and saying, like, I pity your wife. And then she's saying stuff like, just because we do similar videos don't mean we have to hang out. You're just mad that we didn't want to hang out with you after fucking VidCon or Kilroy or wherever the fuck they went. Like she was ripping that poor guy a new one.
By the way, he has very strong disgust lines around his nose, doesn't he?
God.
What
vile people. Like all three of these people on my screen right now need to get the fuck out of my helicopter.
Armored Skeptic and Shoe and Head, aren't they Canadian? Where the fuck do they live?
I don't know.
Tell me they live in Calgary.
I don't believe so. I think they're both American.
I thought he was. I thought no. He spells armored in the Canadian spelling.
Oh yeah, he's got that gay U in there.
No, we spell correctly.
I'm sorry. All the nations that went to the moon, raise your hand.
Like he's not cool enough to be from Toronto, and he's not edgy enough to be Vancouver. And I never see him around Calgary. I mean, if he did, you'd see like that helmet wouldn't be enough. He must live in Saskatchewan, which is, by the way, that's our shitty province.
I just want to say though that when I watch an Armored Skeptic video, I find myself skeptical that his vest is the right size.
Oh, they live in Vancouver, says Heroic Fool. Dude, I got a buddy in Vancouver. I got to go visit the next faggy con that happens in Vancouver. I'll just get my buddy to crouch behind Armored Skeptic, and I'll push him over my buddy. Then I'll laugh at him.
We got fucking mundane fat crying in the corner here. Like when I'm sure that's not the only time he's been crying in the corner though. Turn off that pesky spine. Somebody said under like if we all unsub, do they take the button back? You know what else is funny? Okay, so he's got 100K subscribers, right? Let's go over to Mundane Fat's channel real quick because I want to check something out. I want to check out
how many views does he get?
Yeah, let's look at audience retention, shall we? Okay, so Mundane Matt.
I used to be buddies with this prick on Skype.
He's live now.
Oh, is he? How about that?
You guys better like dump this stream and go check out Monday Matt.
He's got 102 people watching.
I get more than that.
Stream. Oh, at 100K subscribers.
I've got
a third of the amount of people watching, and who the fuck am I?
And this isn't even your real stream. This is your.
This isn't even my real channel. I'm banished from my real channel. Monday, Matt, you sad fuck. Okay, so let's go to his videos, shall we? Let's go to his videos, and we're gonna see his most recent video. Boy Scouts to allow condoms of Jamboree from 4 hours ago. You know what? Let's not judge 4 hours ago. Let's give it a good solid day. Okay, so he talks about SJWs attacking Deadpool 2. So this is a clickbaity fucking video. Deadpool 2 just came out this past weekend with it's been a full day. He is about as clickbaity as you can be with it. He has got 13K views. That means best case scenario here, this cocksucker is at a 13% audience retention. Good game, Matt. Good game. You got 100 motherfuckers listening to you live. I'm tempted to no, I don't want the guy to fucking strike me. I'm tempted to stream snipe him and just listen to what the fuck he's saying right now. Like let's see if we can get more people listening to us listen to Mundane Matt than Mundane Matt actually. Jim does that to him, I know. But no, I don't want to do that because he
lives in Ontario? Of course he lives in fucking Ontario. He probably lives in Toronto and he fucking likes the city. What a prick. What an incredible prick. Let the eastern bastards freeze in the dark. Fuck Ontario. Cut off the pipelines. Pull down the wires. Let them freeze in the dark.
I have 33 people watching.
Send them their way to having electricity. How's that sound, asshole?
Okay, right now I have 29 people watching on my channel with 286 subs.
Which means I just threw 4 away.
Yeah, he has under 100, and he has 102 people watching on a channel with 100K subs. What piss poor? See, here's the thing. Sub counts don't mean shit, okay? You know how many dead channels there are with like 10 million fucking subscribers or some bullshit like that?
Oh, I'm pretty sure I'm still subscribed to him.
Because nobody unsubscribes to shit. Nobody, like, I consciously, like, the other week went and looked at my subscriptions and cut a bunch of them. But most people don't do that. Most people don't unsubscribe to shit. So, like, view counts is what matters. And I'm sorry, but yeah, 13K views is way more than I got, all right, on any of my shit. But this isn't my living, you know, and I don't have 100K subscribers and you're getting fucking...
Thank fucking God it's not your living. You'd have to like live stream every goddamn Marvel trailer and have something vaguely insightful but not negative to say about it.
Yeah, like every fucking day I got to pump out 5 videos. Imagine that. Every day you got to pump out 5 videos where you read fucking BuzzFeed articles. Like,
and pretend you're a journalist. No, you're not the journalist. You're just the last part of the asshole that absorbs nutrients.
Honestly, man, like if I wanted something like that, just quick little news bites on my videos, I'm gonna watch, you know, either Mark Dice or for just middle of the road normie shit, Philip DeFranco. I gotta watch him getting fucking fat. Oh, jeez. So he says Bechtloff reacts to trailers. Yeah, it's like half of what he does. It's just like, oh, look, the trailer came out. I liked it. I think it might look good. Like, think about it. Okay, so SJWs are bitching that Deadpool's girlfriend dies in the movie. I know spoilers, but, you know, SJW's already ruined this.
Of course she dies in the fucking movie.
She dies in the movie, and it becomes a big motivator for him because, you know what? That's a big classic trope in fiction, isn't it?
And also, she's a useless character.
The girl in the refrigerator trope. You know what's interesting about that? It actually speaks to women being more valuable than men. Because think about it. Men die all the time in these fucking movies, and nobody cares. The moment a woman dies, it becomes a major plot point.
Here's the thing.
Because men are disposable.
Movies are about things being done, and you ladies don't tend to do anything. You like us men because we do things. Seriously. Okay, guys, here's one of the secrets to getting laid on the first date. At least when I was dating, I know we're in the Tinder generation, but bear with me. When I was dating, women waited until the third date before they slept with you. So, okay, that's a psychological thing. So what I used to do, I was terrible. I would meet girls at a coffee shop, and then I'd say, hey, let's get out. I've had enough coffee. Let's get out of here. And then I'd say, hey, let's go for a walk through the park. And then we'd go for a walk through the park. Then I'd say, oh, hey, there's a really good bar I know. It's right over here. Let me buy you a beer. And I'd buy them a beer. And then I'd walk them back towards the coffee shop, which just happened to go past my apartment, and say, by the way, I've got the best tap water in Calgary. Now, technically, they just met me 3 hours before. But psychologically, we have been on 3 dates. I never once had a girl say no.
Well,
I'm a really good dater. I'm getting married probably next year. I'm off the market, but I take girls on good dates. You know, you take a girl on a date and you make it interesting, you make it fun. You don't take her to the fucking movies. Okay, then somebody else is making her vagina tingle. No, you're like, hey, let's go fucking, I don't know, there's a gravel pit, let's do some sweet drifting. And then you have sex with her on the side of the road afterwards. I don't know, you do something interesting with your woman. Or you could share a milkshake.
This is my, like, your living is just like, okay, so SJWs are bitching about a movie. Aren't SJWs assholes? It's like, yes, thank you, 2013. Like, that can't be all you fucking talk about. Like, yes, they're assholes. Like, yeah, they bitched about a movie because they fucking hate fun. Okay, they saw people were enjoying a movie and they decided to piss on it because that's what they do. Stop paying attention to them.
Oh, they're going to accuse me of trespassing on that gravel pit where I had sex with a woman. But seriously, guys, if you got good, like, you might get a nail in your tire or something if you fuck around in gravel pits. Just heads up.
Gamergate is still being brought up. That's how much we're in 2013, somebody says.
God, they still think it's something. There's still people on Gamergate subreddits and whatnot.
Good Lord. Name Matt. Like, what fucking nothing topics he got? Okay. Is it unconstitutional for Trump to block on Twitter? Somebody asked. Okay, that's actually... apparently a federal judge told Trump he's not allowed to block people on Twitter, which is if, and it's a big if, because Lord knows these past 2 years have been nothing but squandered potential. But if that's something you can run with, you can actually use that as an excuse to argue that these are public forums and blocking and banning people for political views isn't okay. Like, you might be able to actually expand that into good territory.
I wish they would. I don't think they will.
Yeah, that's the thing. Everything is just, squandered potential.
Trump hasn't really shown much interest in protecting his online alternative right, alternative whatever base. He's okay with us getting censored, quite frankly. I mean, I still prefer the guy to Hillary, okay? I'm just, he's not the second.
Ted Cruz is doing good stuff in that front, though. Ted Cruz is the one guy that's really picking that up.
Ted Cruz for vice president. He's even Canadian.
So much of this is just like such clickbait or shit.
Well, you got and
like I'm going through his fucking videos here, and it's like Amos Yee booted from YouTube for defending pedos. Oh, thank you. Yes, we all know Amos Yee is a shithead. Here we got the poo controversy.
I just say Wolfman at Large comments that if you get a nail in your tire, then you can show your woman how to change a tire. And you're right, you're still winning. Exactly, you turned lemons into lemonade, buddy. Not this motherfucker. This guy doesn't know how to change a microphone screen. He calls in a tech to do that.
These videos are all like 15 minutes long too. Like these should be like for this level of topic.
Posters on the back of his wall.
What's this?
What a fucking queer.
He has a what now?
Star Wars posters.
Oh, jeez. Can you imagine still having Star Wars
old school
posters?
Yeah, old school Star Wars posters.
And it is a soy boy face. You're right.
Good lord. It's like if you. It's like if you
picture there.
It's like if you put an extra chromosome in Kevin Smith.
Luke, just take his mouth and make it fill up the entire screen.
Jeez. Star Wars posters on your fuck. What the hell, man?
Like the AVGN does this as a joke. This guy does it seriously.
No, but the AVGN has like actual posters of shit that
somebody needs to use that as a Twitter avatar or something.
Like the AVGN has like posters of stuff that actual geeks care about. Mundane Fat just has fucking Star Wars. He has the most basic. Basically, he has what like the directors of The Big Bang Theory think that a geek's room looks like.
He's not even like a good nerd. If you mentioned, hey, have you read any Heinlein? He's like, oh, I heard it might be fascist, and so I don't buy those books. He is socially approved of nerd.
He's like the male equivalent of like if you go on a dating site and you see the girl that claims she's a big nerd because she liked the Avengers movie or something. I'm such a geek, girl. Like that's what Mundane Fat is.
It's like if you had been in a tragic accident where you lost your testicles. He's a eunuch. He's a nerd eunuch.
Like I said, it's like you sucked the soul out of Kevin Smith, and instead of a soul, you gave him an extra chromosome.
You know, this is a cute pic and all, but you can tell from the look in her eye that within the past week, she got seriously railed in the ass by a Negro penis.
I'm sorry, are we still talking about Mundane Matt?
Well, the cartoon on the far left, lower left-hand side looks like he's getting railed in the poon by Negro penis.
Jeez. So he says Star Wars is pretty basic, bitch. It really is. It's one step above loving Harry Potter.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is. And this is an ex-hardcore Star Wars fan. It's like, grow the fuck up. It's a basic hero's journey. It was a very silly universe. I don't know. Somehow those movies were just magic. They were lightning in a bottle, as the saying goes. But get over it. It's like Indiana Jones, you know? Like the first 3 movies were really good. And then the 4th one was fucking terrible.
I don't know. In all fairness to the 4th one, it certainly has its problems, but I don't think it's any worse than Temple of Doom. I think people just look at Temple of Doom with rose-colored glasses because of when it came out. Like, in my eyes, Indiana Jones is 2 really, really awesome movies and 2 decent movies. Like
the 4th
Raiders and Raiders of the Lost Ark and the Last Crusade are both amazing flicks. Temple of Doom and Crystal Skull are just kind of throwaway movies.
I feel the same way about Crystal Skull as I do about Terminator 3. That it's like Terminator 3 is not a bad movie exactly, but it kind of shits all over the universe. And the same thing with Crystal Skull, that it tries to introduce the sci-fi of the 50s, but it does not do it well. In fact, it harms the entire series by doing it, and it's best to ignore. Yeah, like buy the 3-box set. Temple of Doom is not great, but it's an Indiana Jones movie. Crystal Skull adds, it's an enjoyable movie, the same way that Terminator 3 is an enjoyable movie, but it does harm to the franchise.
I'm not inherently opposed to the idea of adding aliens.
So the way they did it.
Yeah, like I defy anyone to explain to me what the fuck happened at the end of Crystal Skull. Like they were dead alien skeletons that then came to life because reasons. Like I'm not even. I don't. It's not even that it's weird and wild and crazy. I don't even care if they're alien ghosts. I just want it to be fucking explained.
They did not handle it
because
well,
it didn't even feel like one of those kind of things where it's like, oh, it's a mystery kind of thing. It just felt lazy. It just felt like the writers were like, here's some shit that happens. Fuck you.
It makes you question everything. The other movies were so much fun that your suspension of disbelief is at 100%. Whereas with this movie, first of all, there's too many damn plot holes in it. Like, how many skulls are there? Not to sound like shoe on head here, but like they like need 13, and there's one hidden in Roswell, but like you lose track of what the fuck is going on with these damn crystal skulls.
I think part of it too is that communists don't make as good of villains as Nazis.
Well, and there's this one scene I'm quoting
because communists are kind of pathetic.
There's that one bit where he says communists, and you can almost hear him say, I hate communists. I hate those guys. He said Nazis. I hate those guys. But they pulled it out for some reason. And yeah, I'm going complete. These criticisms were made by Red Letter Media, but they are apt criticisms. The movie is just lackluster. It lacks bite. Like
I said, though, I do think it's shit on a bit unfairly. I think everyone wants that.
It's not that bad. It's just
complete dumpster fire. And as I said, I really don't think it's any worse than Temple of Doom.
Well, and you know what the whole listen.
I think you could sit here for hours on end, really, really picking apart Temple of Doom.
Oh, I have no problem with the nuke the fridge moment. That was not my problem with the movie. Like, if you're about to be hit in a nuclear blast, why not hide in a lead-lined fridge?
It's no worse than the I'm going to use a life raft as a fucking parachute or whatever the hell was going on in Temple of Doom.
Exactly. That was cool in Temple of Doom. Why is it? I'm okay with that. I don't like the characters. I don't like old Indiana Jones. I don't like the inconsistencies in the plot, the lack of clear villains and clear, like his buddy or a traitor? I still don't fucking know by the end of the movie.
I like the interactions with Indy and that chick from what was it, Lost Ark, I think.
It seems like we just can't make movies anymore.
I like the idea of the old loves kind of reunited. I thought that was reasonably well done.
Yeah, except she was haggard.
There's that line in there where he says something about there's been tons of other girls, but they all had the same problem. They weren't you.
Yeah, but fucked her when she was 14.
Well, that 14-year-old pussy. It's top quality stuff. It just sticks in your head.
Actually, now this is starting to make a lot more sense.
Yeah, really. He got her in her prime, man. You wonder why it's stuck in his head so long.
As I was saying, it's more like it feels like they don't know how to make movies because they can't have a damsel in distress anymore. They can't have actual bad guys that the good guy hates. They can't have any of these simple, basic tropes. And listen, The Usual Suspects is an amazing movie. Okay, Kaiser Sose is absolutely brilliant. I love complex movies. Heat is another amazingly complex movie. Who's the good guy? Who's the bad guy? Is anybody good or bad? I love this stuff. All right, Indiana Jones is not the place for this. They are mincing around because they're pussies and they don't want to make a point.
Yeah. And again, you know, so many, like trope has become this bad word. Well, tropes are used for a reason. It's because they mean something to the human spirit.
Tropes, you need to use tropes. You need to rely upon tropes. Like if I put a character in a novel that tips his fedora, I know what you're all thinking. So I'm going to use that.
And it's not like you can't, you know, invert or subvert or twist those tropes around once in a while just for the novelty of it. Like, okay, we're going to turn this on its head once in a while. But that's a once in a while thing. You know, those are the exceptions to the rules. Generally speaking, these tropes work for a reason.
Oh, fuck Shrek. Shrek was the beginning of the end of cinema.
It's a bit harsher than I'm willing to say.
I'm not wrong, though, am I? Like, Shrek is when all of this, let's invert the tropes. Oh, and we're going to name the villain Cumfart or something like that.
Farquaad.
Oh, well, only the parents get that. Shrek was peak atheism. It was peak fedora.
Peak atheism. I guess that's why Shrek has become such an autism magnet.
Yeah, people sense this subconsciously. It's in the collective unconscious.
I remember liking the first Shrek.
Conjuring Man says he Shrek'd the movie industry. Now it all smells like onions.
I remember really liking the first Shrek movie, and then when I watched the sequels, there was just something about them that felt so, I don't know, just nothing. And then I realized Shrek only works as a one-off thing because it's like, hey, you know, because it's a parody. It's a parody of things. It's an inversion of things. It's a deconstruction of things.
It's postmodernism, the movie.
That works well once in a while, but that can't be the main thing. I sort of liken it to Watchmen as for superhero stuff, in that, you know, everyone wants to act like Watchmen was the end-all be-all of superhero storytelling. It was just a really, really well-done deconstruction of the superhero genre.
There is no sequel to Watchmen.
And the thing about that is it's good once in a while to have those kind of stories. It's good once in a while to deconstruct, because it's good once in a while to take something apart, because that sort of helps you understand why it works. But then you got to put it back together and go back to doing the regular storytelling.
Remember how good the first Trek was? How fun and refreshing it was to see an animated fantasy flick that was small and character-oriented, interested in being different? Remember when Mike Myers, Cameron Diaz, and Eddie Murphy were three of the biggest and most welcome stars you could want in a movie? Remember how cool it was to see DreamWorks take out of the Disney brand? Remember when you weren't sick to death of that Hallelujah song being played over meditative montages? Doesn't that seem like forever ago instead of just a decade? Look around you now. Can you think of any actors that make you want to see a movie less than Mike Myers, Cameron Diaz, and Eddie Murphy? Have you noticed how successfully Disney around ever since they ditched Eisner? Meanwhile, Shrek, which started off mocking the overblown, corporatized state of modern fairy tale movies, is now the most overblown, corporatized fairy tale of all. Ah, well, he who fights monsters, right?
Movie Bob used to be really, really good at dissecting film before he disappeared up his own diabetic ass.
That fucking breaks my heart, man. It really does break my heart. What drove him to that? I'm going to speculate a little bit here, because I had a depressing conversation with somebody that was one part Medicare, one part shoe on head, and one part movie Bob earlier tonight. And it's like there's this refusal to, like, that, just this anger at the name of Christ. That they will not converse with you. They will not be sane. Movie Bob had so much fucking potential, but I swear to God, somebody said the name of Christ to him, and he flipped out and decided to become Movie Bob squared. They double down, and they go insane. They fall apart. Like, I know where I deserve to go, but I think Grace might just save me. These people, I don't even know how you would begin to save a movie, Bob.
You know, Shrek was supposed to be originally, what the hell, Chris Farley. They were actually starting, because I mean, especially back then, these movies took so long to fucking animate. They were, there's actually some like storyboards. You can find YouTube videos of the recordings of Eddie Murphy and Chris Farley recording audio for the movie, and there's like storyboards to go with it.
That would make sense. Well, yeah, thanks, Luke. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, that was. I think that character was actually written for him. And the little bits I've heard with Chris Farley, the character seems a lot less, I don't know, kind of harsh and bitter than Mike Myers' interpretation of it.
Yeah, because Mike Myers isn't fat. Chris Farley is fat. He knows what it's like to be fat. Yeah, the problem with Shrek is it became a series. It tried to build on its own mythos. No, you have anti-mythos. You're an anti-movie. If there had been one Shrek, that's fine.
Yeah, I like the first Shrek. I still think I still think it stands up. I would never want to watch any of the others. I think I've seen a couple of the sequels, and I'm like, I don't even know if this is bad. This is almost just nothing.
You know, it's a reminder that if you're going to have noble characters, you can't just say that they're tall and blue-eyed and blonde-haired. You actually need to make them noble. You need more than just saying, oh, it's an ogre, it's a villain, kill it. You need to justify that a little bit. But, you know, they took this postmodern remix of fairy tales and they turned it into a belief system.
As is always the case with the left, they take the exception and make it the rule.
Oh, by the way, I ran into something interesting with the Pathfinder campaign setting. One of the explanations for the lack of advanced technology, despite like 10,000 years of history, is the fact that monstrous humanoids, orcs, who are always bad, as Coyote Khan points out, keep destroying civilization. So you're not just trying to build civilization fighting other humans, you're trying to build civilization fighting fucking dragons and orcs and other bullshit all the time. And so civilization keeps falling and re-emerging and getting to like a high medieval point and then falling again. And I like that. That's a very interesting justification for all these ancient ruins in the series.
Well, I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up because I'm probably going to have to get to bed soon. So, anybody got any closing thoughts?
Guys, take a girl out on 3 dates instead of 1. Take her on interesting dates. Be interesting. Do interesting things. Have interest. Good Lord, I once seduced a woman talking about the Bible and how she shouldn't have sex with me. I know I'm terrible, but it worked. She thought I was interesting, and so she had sex with me.
Luke, any closing thoughts?
Ditto to Davis, I guess.
Yeah. I don't really have much. I don't know. I guess check out that new Ninja Turtle comic. It probably pisses off liberals.
Oh yeah,
as I'm reading it, I'm like, it's amazing how much of this they would never do now.
So wait, I'm not sure. Is actually Eastman or Laird writing the book?
No, it was. It's a reprint of the of a very short-lived series that Image Comics published like in like 97 when Turtles was basically a dead property for a while. And it's very, very hyper violent, very, very 90s. They're reprinting it and they're colorizing it. And then they're going to eventually publish the last few issues that never saw print.
Oh, is this the Ninja Girl?
Yeah, like they just got some scantily clad ninja girl with fucking spikes on her face and shit. And cyborgs show up and just attack them. It's like, yeah, or it's like just out of nowhere, the Ninja Turtles are attacked by a bunch of cyborgs led by a dominatrix. Fucking 90s to the kilt. I love it.
Let's see if you can pick up my body weight, babe. If you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, it's fucking fantastic, man. And again,
John Jacobs says Cool Cat needs to save the Thundercats.
I think at this point, Cool Cat's in the Thundercats.
Yeah, I gotta say, as time goes on, I have more and more warm feelings towards Cool Cat. Like, it's weird as shit, but the guy seems more legitimate than Thundercats. So, guys, if you're gonna give money to anything, give it to Cool Cat. Send him $5.
He loves babies.
Listen, I think everybody's a fucking pedophile. I don't think Cool Cat is a pedophile. He is weird, but I get nothing but positive vibes off of this guy. I'm okay with Cool Cat. He is cool in my book. Go support him, not fucking Jordan Peterson. We need more Cool Cat videos, not more lectures about symbolism in the Bible.
All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Thanks for listening, everybody. If you enjoy the show, check out Patreon, PayPal, Amazon wishlist, all that good stuff. And, follow me on Twitter, or follow the show on Twitter, I should say. Luke runs it. Twitter.com/Bechtloff podcast. Gab.ai/the Bechtloff, Facebook.com/the Bechtloff. All right, that's all we got for tonight, folks. Thanks for listening. Bechtloff out.